Good evening, ladies and gents. The game is afoot. What's up, guys? I'm Mason the Brock Henderson, and I started my review that way because I'm weird. Yeah. Anyway, Sherlock, the Abominable Bride. Gotta admit, I did not know what to expect going into this. I saw the poster up when I went to see, I think it was the Hunger Games in theaters. I saw the poster up for it, and I saw it was on Fathom Events. I'm like, what? Saw that it was going to be in the movie theaters. Um, and I actually taped it just in case I couldn't make it to the movies tonight. But I did, so got to see it on the big screen, including some like behind the scenes stuff, which is pretty cool. But yeah, it was really, really good. First of all, because I haven't done a Sherlock review because it hasn't been on TV, I have not gotten to talk about Sherlock at all. So I just want to just go ahead and talk about it a bit. The first three seasons, just my thoughts on it. Really great show. If you have not seen it, go out, get the DVDs. I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix, so go Netflix it right now. Probably, if not the best, then one of the best or most beautiful shot TV shows. Almost as good as a movie. Just the film work behind this TV show is incredible. Because I don't even know how to explain it. Like just what they do and how they use the angles, how they use the lighting, the editing that goes into it. Really well done, and it really does feel like you're watching a movie, which they technically are. Hour and a half, like short movies, I guess. And there've only been 3 seasons, only 3 episodes per season, but they're all an hour and a half long. The sad part is the frequency with which we get these seasons. The first season was in 2010, second season was in 2012, third season was in 2014, and I thought we were getting the fourth season this year, but instead we got this special, which turned out to be good, but we're not getting the fourth season until 2017, so it does take them a long time to finally give us the next season, but in my opinion, it's well worth the wait. So if you have not seen the first 3 seasons, you might want to just not watch this video and then come back and watch it after you have seen the first 3 seasons and this one, because there's a lot of spoilers I'm going to talk about, and you just have to watch to understand how great the show is. But here's the Abominable Bride. Abominable Bride. I'm going to slip up a lot saying that. So, going in, I read kind of the plot behind it. I understood what was going on as far as what the story was going to be. It's set in Victorian times. There's a lady who, she becomes the Abominable Bride. She shoots herself after shooting at several people, shoots herself in the head, and then next thing you know, like a night, like that night or something like that, all of a sudden she shows up again and kills her husband with a shotgun, and then they go to the morgue to check on her, and her finger has blood on it, and which is what she was saying the whole time as she's shooting at people. You, like shooting at him. You, pretty creepy. And so that's the whole case. Is well, how did this happen? How did this go on? What happened here? And so as they're going through, I'm just like, okay, this is a pretty creepy story. Especially like if you saw the Robert Downey Jr. movies, the Sherlock movies, the first one kind of reminded me of that one just a bit, just because there was kind of a supernatural element to it. But the whole time Sherlock's just like, don't clear that out of your mind, John. This is not supernatural. And it was kind of weird the whole time because you're seeing all of these characters from the show, like John's in it, Mary's in it, Mycroft is in it, Molly is in it, except now she's disguised as a man. You've got Lestrade still there. So all the people that are in the show are in it, but they're different. Like they're all different characters. John's like a bit more of the Watson we know from the Arthur Conan Doyle stories. I haven't really seen much of like the 1940s version, like the black and white, that Watson. I haven't seen much of that. I've seen a little bit, but a bit more like him. He's got the curly mustache. He's a bit more. And he even talked about that a bit, like how he wants to do that a lot of the time, like good God, but he has to tone that down because that's not his character. But he was able to do it a bit more in this one because he's more that character now. Um, I'm just kind of rambling about that. Anyway, but Mycroft is like fat and just eating himself to death. I'm just like, what is going on right now? Lestrade's even a bit more like down on himself than normal. Because like in the show, Sherlock makes fun of him a lot, and sometimes he takes it, sometimes he throws it back at him. But this one, he just seemed like accepting everything Sherlock said, and I'm like, what is? And then there was this moment where the guy that was like his wife came to Sherlock and said, look, my husband, he's been seeing this Amelia. He's been seeing her for the past couple nights. Last night I saw her too, and now she's coming to kill him. He goes to protect the guy and can't. Like, the guy still dies, and like the ghost gets away. And then all of a sudden, Lestrade's like, well, the killer did leave a note. And there wasn't a note whenever he checked the body the first time, so he goes back to check it, lifts it up, and it says, miss me. It's like, wait. That's what... Because if you saw the end of the third season, it ends with, there's a video of Moriarty saying, miss me. And that's how it ends. It's like, Moriarty's back. And so whenever I saw that, I'm like, wait a minute. Wait. Is this in Holmes's mind? Is that what's going on right now? Because it made total sense. Once I saw that, I was like, oh, that's why Mycroft is so ugly and slobby and... Like, in his mind, that is Mycroft. And you know that because you've seen him react around Mycroft. You've seen him, like, the experiences he's had with his brother. And that's exactly what he thinks of him. I'm just like, this is all going on in his mind, isn't it? And then when Moriarty shows up in his room and they start talking, I'm like, this case is to help him try to figure out how Moriarty could have survived shooting himself in the head. I get it now. And it made total sense. I was like, these writers are geniuses. Like, to have this, it could have been a totally throwaway episode. It could have just been, you know what? We've got a lot of followers. We've got a lot of people that love our show. Let's give them a back in the day episode. Let's take a break from the present. Let's give them one with these characters, but set back in Victorian times. Let's do that. But no, it was set back in those times, but it was to further the plot of what's going on in the show now. That's brilliant. That is just genius, and I loved it. It was great. When I finally realized that was the whole point. That's why he's going through this. And sure enough, whenever Moriarty's talking to him, like, everything starts shaking. I'm like, it's the turbulence from the plane. It's the turbulence from the plane. That's what's going on right now. I got this. I know what's going on. I'm a freaking genius. I'm Sherlock Holmes. What's up? And sure enough, he wakes up in the plane. They're all, like, Mycroft, Watson, and Mary, they all pile in. Like, are you okay? And he's telling them, look, I read about the story. Similar circumstances, a woman shot herself in the head. And, like, she still somehow got up and killed her husband. I put myself back there in that time to solve it how I would solve it. But then all of a sudden, there's a twist. Because I was like, okay, I've got this. I know what's going on now. I know what's going to happen next. We're going to find out how Moriarty did it. And then they kind of take a detour. And Mycroft's just like, did you make a list? List? What are you talking about? And John's even sitting there like, I've seen him do this before. It's his mind palace. He's gone there before. Like, did you make a list? He hands him a list. And then Mycroft starts talking about, a long time ago it started, and no matter where I'd find him, I would always ask him for a list of whatever drugs he took. And I was like, whoa, this is a surprisingly deep moment out of nowhere. Like, it was this all of a sudden deep backstory, and I'm just like, where did this come from? And it was well done. Don't get me wrong. It was just out of nowhere, and all of a sudden I'm sitting there like, okay, okay, so this is interesting. I did not see this coming. And sure enough, like he possibly, quite possibly, could have OD'd right now, because he's got so many drugs in his system. And it kind of makes you wonder all those times when he's going into his little mind palace. He was using drugs all those times. Like that's crazy to think about. And it makes me want to go back and watch first three seasons to check on all those times and be like, because you knew he was using drugs. Like I knew, because I know Sherlock Holmes. I know kind of his story. I know he's a drug user. But this kind of shows that it's a lot more serious than we even realized, and that this could be a major plot point in the future, um, especially when it comes to like the fact that his health is kind of in question in this episode. Uh, so that was just really out of nowhere scene, but a very well done scene, and kind of felt like foreshadowing of what's to come. But anyway, it cuts back to Victorian times. Sherlock's waking up after his drug usage back then, which it was kind of weird how it kept jumping back and forth. I'm like, which one's the real one? Because it really could be either one, and even at the end, like it seems like they end, and then all of a sudden they cut to Watson and Holmes, and they're sitting there. So there are going to be flying aircrafts in the future, and people are going to have cordless telephones, and what is all this? He's like, well, this is just me theorizing about the future. And she's like, wait, what if that is what's going on right now? Like, hang on, this could be either way. That's a creepy way to think about it, and kind of twisted, and now my mind hurts. Ow. Anyway, but he wakes back up back then, and then all of a sudden they're meeting Mary in this kind of dark place, and she says she's figured out this lead because she's been working with Mycroft the whole time. And finally, the secret is revealed that this Amelia, she faked her death. You know, she had two pistols, shot the one at the ground, had some people put some blood splatter behind her, switched out a body that looked similar to her so she could go kill her husband, and then go back and killed herself and put her corpse inside the morgue so that, you know, she is there. Confirmed, like this is absolutely her. And then you find out it's because the women at the time, they weren't getting a vote. Like they weren't getting any hearsay, that's not the right word. They weren't getting like any recognition, which is touched on a little bit, which was pretty clever. Like at the beginning, Mary, she shows up and she's complaining to John because he's not there enough, and then like whenever they're getting ready, like, what about me? Well, we're gonna be hungry later. It's like, wow, like this is really, I guess this is what it used to be like, isn't it? And that's kind of what the deal is for them. They're trying to get recognition so that they can get a right to vote. And so you find out that all of these women had banded together to like push it forward and kind of give themselves recognition, which is pretty creepy. Like if you really think about it, like they helped her kill her husband, who like was not nice to her, I guess, and then this other guy that his wife was the one that came to Holmes, and then they killed him because he was a jerk to Amelia in America. And then all of a sudden you find out it was his wife that was behind the whole thing. She was the mastermind that set it all up. But then it's not her, it's Moriarty. And it's like, wait, what? I'm so confused. And that's kind of the whole thing, is that because of these drugs, his mind is pretty messed up. And so he's solving this case right now, and then all of a sudden Moriarty pops up. And then all of a sudden he wakes up from the drug overdose, and then he's in the future again, and now he's digging up Amelia's grave because he's pretty certain that they buried the fake body up underneath her, and digging and digging. And then all of a sudden, like, she wakes up from her grave. Don't forget about. I'm like, oh my god, this is creepy. And then all of a sudden, he wakes up and he's at the waterfall, the Rheinbach Fall. waterfall, and it's just like, oh, so I'm still dreaming again. And Moriarty's there, and then they have this really just intense moment where he's just like, I'm the virus in your mind, and they're fighting, and he's like beating him up, and then John shows up, and it's such a brilliant metaphor of this is his mind fighting against itself. Moriarty is like it's the part of him that just is evil and is so focused on him, and you know it's hard to explain, but generally people like Holmes, they get fixated on something, they have an obsession. Moriarty is that for him. Like, how did he really die? How did he come back? And he's obsessing about it, and he's frustrated because he can't figure it out. And then John shows up, and John's the part of his mind that is the voice of reason, that is the voice of good, and he shows up to help him fight. And it's just like that is the most brilliant analogy right there. It's just so perfect up on screen. Brilliant. Brilliant. I couldn't write it any better. I couldn't think about it any better. Like, absolutely perfect. Pinpoint perfection. And so then, after that, it's like, it's clearly setting up for season 4 and leaves on kind of a cliffhanger that frustrates me. Like, not in a, this episode stinks type of frustration. It's more like a, why does it have to be a whole year? Why do I have to wait till 2017 to see what happens? Why? I just want to know. Because then after that, he, talking to Mycroft, they leave. Mycroft has this word with John, look after him. And then they're about to get in the car. And Holmes is just like, Moriarty is absolutely, no doubt, dead. Just like, okay, so what do we need to do now? He's like, well, now I know what he's going to do next. I was like, wait, what? Like, my head hurts again. It's very clever. Very clever of the writers, because now my anticipation is building. Because after the 3rd season, after seeing what happened at the end of that, with Moriarty, missed me, it's like, so he's still alive. And then after this, the question's still not answered. Like, you kind of have an answer, but not really. Like, so what? So Moriarty's dead, but somebody's picking up the torch for him and carrying on in his legacy? Like, what is going on here? Is he dead? Is he not dead? I don't know. Tune in to find out. And that's pretty much how I feel about this, is that they told this whole story, and now at the end of it, they're just like, tune in next time to see what happens. Like, oh, I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait. Please, don't make me wait. Don't make me wait. Is it 2017 yet? No. And that was Sherlock, the Abominable Bride. And that's my dog. Gonna come say hi. Yeah, he's a good dog. Anyway. But yeah, it was really, really well done. The camera work, as always, brilliant. They know how to shoot it. They know how to do it in very movie-like fashion. Did I just knock over my drink? Okay, it's not open. But they do so well in filming it, in writing the story. The characters, spot on to perfection. Everybody acts their part to perfection. I could not imagine anybody else playing these specific roles. When I think about, you think about Elementary, Johnny Lee Miller plays the perfect Sherlock if he were living in modern day New York. If he were a recovering drug addict. He just plays that part very well. Benedict Cumberbatch plays the perfect Sherlock living in London, dealing with the drug addiction. Really, they all play their parts really well. You can't take anybody out of that formula because they're all really good. And specifically, though, the guy that plays Moriarty, he is really, really good. Like, he plays that psychopath that I have not seen very often. I've seen it maybe one or two other times where he just seems so unstable. Like, at one second, he's just like, hello, and the next episode, and like yelling, and it's just like I don't know what to think of you. Like you could just blow up at any second and kill everybody. That's the type of character he plays with Moriarty, and it's brilliant. Keep saying brilliant a lot because the show is brilliant. But yeah, that was my opinion on the Abominable Bride. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Hopefully you got to see it on the big screen. If not, if you had to watch it on TV, hopefully you have a big screen TV. Yeah. Because, I mean, best way to see it is in a movie theater, my opinion. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. We can talk about it, discuss it. Leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more Sherlock stuff whenever it finally comes out in 2017. Also check out my other videos, Elementary if you're a Sherlock fan. And I'll see you guys at the next review. Peace out.